live. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Dojo Live. This is the recap show. Today is Monday, June 28th, 2021. I'm Tulio Siragusa, broadcasting from Southern California. I'm joined by Carlos Ponce in Cuernavaca, Mexico. Hey, Carlos. And Kim Lantis in Hermosillo, Mexico. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, so I'm moving the camera back so I don't look like Mr. Potato Head, as Kim had alluded before we went live.
That will be something normal, so let's not worry too much about it.
Exactly.
It worse than Mr. Potato Head.
So what are we doing here? We're recapping last week's shows in 10 minutes, folks. So let's see if we can get that to happen. We had 3 shows. One was Democratizing Access to Economic Activity Data to the World with Sanders Partee, who's a co-founder and CEO at MoonVu. And then we talked about tech for good and the impact of AI on all humans with Jenn, Bonine, CEO and co-founder of RedRex. And finally, why are the current employee assessment tools inaccurate? That was with Cristina, Imre, and Adam Hocek, CEO and CTO respectively at Aecho.ai. So which one of these stood out for you guys and why?
I liked them all. Last week was an awesome week. I think the shows were great. I would like to take the first one, which is MoonVu with Sanders Partee. I think that show has moved up to maybe one of my top 10 of all the shows that we've done so far on Dojo Live. So watch it. I think what spoke to me most was just the gritty nature of what they're accomplishing. This very think outside of the box way of accessing data that levels the playing field, particularly with finance, right? So what they're doing, as far as I understand, is essentially setting up cameras in strategic places to access what's public information, to help collect data, to verify and even get a head up on what's happening in the financial sphere. So what he mentioned or utilized was with Tesla, I think it was, using cameras to collaborate and of what they're producing on a daily basis, right? All the way down to how many, what types of cars, etc. And then you could use that with finance, which I think is fabulous. Things that were previously, only available to the really, really huge corporations that can afford to throw a satellite up into the orbit. So I think this is just great. And it was a really, really interesting show.
It's pretty amazing. They announced the Tesla thing on our show. It was like they announced a first on our show. How cool is that, guys? Right. Go ahead, Carlos.
I was going to say in my case, there are 2 shows. The 2 shows that I really remember very well stood out for me were number one, the one with Jenn Bonine, precisely for a number of reasons. But I think that the most important one would be the fact that it's like a personal bias because we were discussing digital architects and buildings and all that. And I'm biased because, as I mentioned in the show, I have a son who's majoring in architecture. So I was envisioning the possibilities automatically in his field. And I got excited about, sharing this with him. But also the way that artificial intelligence is being utilized in these types of visualization technologies in order to create this non-existing scenarios, gathering data from the real world. I think that's so fascinating. There's so much to be done and learned from in this field. And then, of course, the conversation we've had with the folks at Echo about specifically because of my personal interest in the human part of these interactions, whether it be recruiting or hiring people, and how to assess them, and how to make sure that the people, the professionals that are being screened or considered meet specific criteria based on technological components. So I think that's so intriguing. So I don't know how to say that. It's
what I
like
found
it's spooky.
fantastic is how what they're doing, which is the innovative part here, as far as I understand it, is incorporating voice,
right,
and voice analysis in these assessments. Right.
mm-hmm.
So a lot of times maybe we say something is fine. You know, classic, how are you doing today? Fine, thanks. And you? When really my world could be falling apart. And
right.
so the technology here is going to be able to detect some of these underlying layers of what's happening. And also, I think just making it more efficient and increasing the likelihood of people actually participating in assessments.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I mentioned is when we're trying to fill out forms and there's this whole paragraph, like, tell us more. And like to me personally, I'd probably say less than I'd like to because I'm just too lazy to like type it all out. So the ability to be able to capture that with voice and then analyze it in a variety of layers, I think is fascinating. And going in with Jenn and RedRex, I think there's just this overall theme of last week of making everything, like I said earlier, an even playing field. Everything's accessible,
mm-hmm.
no matter who you are, right? And it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beautiful thing. There's this theme of transparency that keeps emerging, make things accessible to everyone. And second, I thought what was fascinating is this is just a renewed interest in remembering the needs of people, that, it's not just the transaction. There's actually people behind everything, right? The assessment, can't just be performance, it's the state of being of an individual. How is their health, which will ultimately impact their performance. And I really loved also this idea that diversity is now taking an even broader approach to life. In other words, it's not just about diversity in race and people and creeds, but it's also in thought. I really appreciated this idea that Jenn spoke of in diversity in thinking and in thought, right? That's a difficult one, especially since we're in this sort of state of cancel culture, right? We have to learn to appreciate that people have different thinking, different ways of doing things. And that's part of the diversity initiative, is accepting that everyone has their own different views. So I'm encouraged by the fact that the private sector, through this technology, because technology will reshape our lives. It always has and always will. Through the technology sector, we actually can make an impact on the world in a positive way instead of just talking about it and dealing with it from a politics perspective. Anything else that stood out for you guys?
The guiding principles, I think, of RedRex are worth taking a look at, right? Going back to the morality and the purpose behind everything that we do. And the accessibility, I think one of the things that we didn't throw in that list, Tulia, was age. I think she mentioned that they're using this technology for schools so that kindergartners can easily maneuver through this virtual building, which I think is super fun, whether that's age, the very young or the very old, who might battle with technology a bit more, making it easily accessible to them as well.
Cool. All right. What do we got coming up, Carlos?
A full week ahead.
Speaking of kindergartners, here's my next kindergartner right here.
Hi. There you have it.
This is Livia. Okay, so what do we got coming up this week, Carlos?
We got a full week today. We got a full week ahead, Tulio and Kim. Actually, tomorrow, tomorrow we're going to be speaking here on Dojo Live with none other than Joshua Montgomery, the founder and at the company's Aecho.ai. That's the name of the company. The topic will be building trust through privacy and open source in the face of big tech. Wednesday, we have Prakash Hosali, the co-founder and CEO of Aquila Labs. The topic is behavioral AI. And finally, on Thursday, we'll be speaking with Maju Kuruvilla, the Chief Product and Technology Officer at Bolt, with the future of identity-powered commerce. That's what we have. We have right here on Dojo Live, a full house, as you can imagine.
Come back tomorrow at 12 o'clock Pacific, and the next 2 weeks after, we're going to be off the air. But we're
off the air on vacation. Please.
All of us on vacation, but we're going to play some cool old shows. So we'll have some rebroadcasts. Anyway, take care.